Okay. So, like I said, if you see me looking down at this a lot, I'm just making sure that I haven't run out of power. So the microphone's transmitting through the receiver into the computer. Okay, a little bit of context about those vocabulary terms. You're not just writing them down for no reason, okay? Because I don't know what you've done in the past. You will be evaluated over those terms as far as your grade as well. There's 3 components to your grade, okay? And what that means is as follows, okay? If we have a pie chart, that's the best way to look at it, okay? Here's our pie, okay? Okay, there's 3 components to your grade. I don't know how accurate this is. We're just trying to make it somewhat accurate. Okay, exams, it's the biggest part. I think you would guess or visualize. Okay. Okay. Now, these have to add up to 100%, which they do. Something interesting down there? Be my guess that we probably are looking at a phone. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. You know, it's isn't it something? If that is the case, I don't know. Has it ever happened to it just takes one person, 2 people, just ruin it for everybody else? Does that sound familiar? Why do we do that? I mean, if you see a hammer, do you hit yourself in the head? Yeah, why would you do that? I think that's probably pretty selfish as far as dealing with everybody else, okay? Now, since this accounts for the most, which it does, okay, your grade is composed of 55% of everything. Your exams makes up the bulk of your grade, just a little over half, okay? Then, when we look at this is the next biggest one, which is 25%, okay? And if you add those 2 numbers together so far, what do we get? 80. So the remaining portion, your homework, is 20%, okay? So what that means is your exams are broken up usually into 2 parts. There's a part 1, which is like multiple choice or general questions and vocabulary. Then part 2 is going to be problem solving, story problems, which we haven't started. That's what we'll be dealing with tomorrow. It says on the schedule, velocity problems. That's what we'll be discussing, okay? So homework is just that. Those vocab terms that you did, 20 easy points. I don't collect them. I just walk up and down the aisle and I say, yep, done, yep, done. Or it's more so if I write your name down, that means you don't have it done. It's just easier to do it that way, okay? I'm thinking probably the 26th, which is a week from today. Okay? So some of you either have them done probably or have started it on your way to getting them done. Okay? That's next week when you come in here, you'll see on that board over there, it'll have a due date. And I would be led to believe that on Friday, it'll probably say VQ, which means Vocabulary Quiz, Chapter 2, which means, again, it's worth just a little bit more than that, okay? I don't know what you've done in years past with vocabulary. Whatever you've done before, maybe it's similar, maybe it's the same, maybe it's totally different. But in here, vocabulary is so important that you have a quiz over that. It's matching. So it'll say something, it'll give you a statement, then it has a blank, and you select from the choices or vocab terms. Okay? So there, again, don't think of this as just something to keep me busy. No, we want you to constantly build upon these terms. Okay. So now, I'm sorry, these terms? Yes. Yep. That's on, it'll just say, it'll be a piece of paper like this that would just say vocab quiz chapter 2. Okay? Maybe a little bit of context there would possibly help. I can show you something. I think I got some of these files here. Do I have one for anatomy and physiology, since that's right handy? Oh, not there. About here. These are all just organic compounds. Dang it. Even though this is handwritten, you'll get the idea. Okay? Like these are, as you can see, multiple choice questions. This is the organic class. These just general questions. Okay? But you're not doing anything like this. This is just an example. Okay? Then, when it comes to your vocabulary, it just has general statements, and then you have choices to select from. Okay, a word bank. That makes sense? Okay, so that's you. What we do that for is 2 reasons. One, on your vocabulary quiz, let's say there's 15 questions. Okay? So it's worth 15 points into this portion. Then on your exam, those are worth 2 points each. So it kind of helps you decide, I need to work on this a little bit, or I'm ready to go for that. Then we also have problem quizzes, which are story problems. And that is also meant to help you that, okay, I need to work on my story problems a little bit more than what I have been. So it's just that extra added attempt to help you understand this material. And it's kind of like you could look at it as seeing an opponent once, and then you know what you need to work on for the next time that you see him. If that makes any sense. Or if you are musically inclined, if you're working on, let's say, all-state chorus, all-state band, maybe the first time you auditioned, it didn't quite go as what you may have thought. So then you learn from that experience and apply it to the next time. So it's kind of like your first time is with the problem quiz, the second time is on an exam. Does that make sense? Okay? Extra credit, we do not give any extra credit in here. Okay? Have any of you seen any of your older brothers or sisters deal with bonus questions? Okay? What that means is when it comes to extra work, it goes into your exam scores. Okay? If I was to give you extra credit or something extra to work on, I would be putting it in here. Does this account for a whole lot of your total grade? No, only a fifth or 20%. What happens is I give you 2 bonus questions the day before the exam or 2 days, and a parent's signature can go on that. That is 2 more points. But human nature as it is, you might forget that paper here and just go down to Mr. Hemmer. I'm sure he's glad to sign it. Go down to Ms. Doctor. I'm sure she's glad to sign it. It's something that they're very used to. That's 1 point. So if you want 2 points, have your parents sign it. Otherwise, if it's a staff member, it's just 1, and I don't sign anything. It's just responsibility. And if you forget that day, if it's given on a Thursday, the exam's on Friday. If it's not turned in on Friday, it's too late. That's just part of being responsible going forward. Okay? So like for instance, just keep in mind, let's say we had a 50-point exam, okay? And out of 50 points, how many points did you get right out of 50? 25? Okay, so that's a 50%, right? Because 25 is half of 50. Okay, now let's say you did your bonus points and you got 6 more. Okay, if my math is correct, that's 31 then, right? So what's going into here would be a 62% as opposed to that of a 50%. That's kind of a big gap. It doesn't sound like it, but let's say you only got 37 right. Okay? So if we did 37 divided by 50, okay? That gives you a 74%. But let's say, hey, I'm going to take advantage of free points. Who likes free points? Okay? So let's say you did your bonuses. Now, instead of 37, you've got 43 divided by 50. That 74% just got raised to an 86. That's a raise of an entire letter grade. Okay? That's only during the exams once per chapter.
We take the exam over or
No. Maybe I did not. Did you say take the exam over?
no?
Oh. Yeah. Your parents are used to it, I'm sure. Just ask Josie. She'll tell you. Okay. Any other questions before we proceed forward? We don't have a whole lot for you. Okay? This makes sense. But you also have to keep in mind when we have probably like 5 exams, those bonus points start to accumulate. And again, they are placed in where it counts the most. It benefits you the most. But you'll be surprised. Some people will just choose not to do these. I'm just going to say, I don't want to, I don't care, I don't know. Why would someone choose not to put free points in here? Can you explain that to me? Lazy. Maybe they're not smart. I don't know. I can't answer that. Any other reasons someone might choose not to do this? That could be too. Those are all applicable answers. Okay. And throughout the course of any science curriculum, especially in here, probably the first few minutes we try to review what we've done the day before. So 2 terms that are very similar in nature are distance and displacement. What is the difference between a distance and a displacement? Just tell me.
Displacement is the direction.
Okay? A distance is just a physical number. Like yesterday in class, we said 12 feet. Okay? Displacement then is 12 feet south. Make sense? That's the difference between distance and displacement. Okay. And this is where we left off with, correct? Okay? All right. So what we want to do is we're going to put the formula for that of calculating velocity here shortly. All right? Yeah, it's getting hot in here, and I see the video has run up to almost 15 minutes, so we'll try to wrap this up shortly. Okay, velocity is always positive. Okay, and then acceleration is just a change in rate of the speed. Acceleration, can that be negative?
Never. Yeah.
What happens when you take your foot off the gas pedal or the accelerator? start to slow down, right? Okay? So what happens, the velocity is still positive, but the acceleration is negative. Okay? There's negative acceleration for two reasons. Either one, the velocity is decreasing, but still at a positive value, or there is a change in direction. Okay? So for instance, when you look at highlight reels for someone like Barry Sanders or other types of running backs, as you are moving in the open field, they don't always run straight, do they? Unless you can run someone over, but they may change directions. And when they do that, they slow down just a little bit and then accelerate. Slow down, change directions, and then accelerate again. Okay, so last thing we want to do is write down the formula for velocity. Does everyone have this information that wants it? Because you might be surprised, I could probably walk up and down these aisles and there's probably blank space where we have wrote information down. Do you suppose that's possible? So some of you are nodding your heads yes. Why would that be? People are choosing not to do this. They're too lazy maybe? Why else? That could be too, okay? So these words are coming from your classmates. They are not coming from myself. Okay, looking for my white remote. Here it is. Okay. All right. Close. All right. Your first formula in your notebook, like on a blank sheet, okay? I want you to start making yes?
Can I write this on the top of our paper here? Or
I would suggest if you have a notebook, put it in there, because probably by the time we get to the end of this semester, you will be utilizing 15 to 20 different formulas. Unless you want to memorize them, I highly, highly suggest that you write them down. And that's just what we're trying to help you out here. Now, you'll be surprised. Some people, they're just not going to write these formulas down. Why would they do that? Maybe they're just too lazy. I don't know. Or maybe don't care, or both. I don't know. But a velocity, okay, equals a distance divided by time. Okay? That is the formula for velocity. Okay? See? That is an excellent idea. You put formulas on top. That way you know it is your formula. You're going to know it's your formula sheet just by looking at it, I get. But okay. So, when we talk about distance, it's just a regular distance, probably measured in meters. Okay? So what I'm putting, what's that? This is velocity, yes. Okay? This is a T. Is there any type of colors that you know I can't see? Red is a common color that some people might not be able to see. Blue is one that, okay, so I'll try to do my best to remember not to use blue. Okay, so this other color that we are using, all it is just the label, okay? So distance is measured in meters. Okay. Now you don't necessarily have to write that next to there, okay? Because that'll be done in what we call setup tomorrow. I just want you to have this down, okay? If you choose to write the meters down, that's fine, but it'll all make sense tomorrow. Okay. So we're not multiplying by anything. I'm just showing you that distance is measured in meters. Okay? Time. What do you suppose that is measured in? Seconds. And then this is a derived unit, which means two things are put together. Okay? So a derived unit for a velocity is measured in meters per second. Okay? Again, what's in purple is the label for what you see in bronze color, gold color, whatever you want to call that. Yes?
So the velocity will be, the answer will be meters per second.
Yes. Like for instance, we could say in a 100-meter dash, a person runs that in 10 seconds. We'll just keep them. We'll just keep that really simple. Okay? The distance was 100 meters in 10 seconds. So if you divide 100 by 10, that gives you what? 10. So then that means they are moving at 10 meters per second. And that's a speed or a velocity. Okay, it's hot in here. I want to stop for today, which I think is fine. Is there any questions over this? We'll be going over this again, but if you catch it right away, it just makes it more simple for you the next time you see it, and then the next time you see it. All right, we will catch up to you next time.